Hey, and welcome back to Adorama TV. I'm Gary Hughes, and today we're going to talk about portable headshot gear. I fly all over the country throughout the year, doing headshots all over the place, thousands of them, and I have battle tested some gear. So what I'm going to do is share with you my experience and the gear I use that is affordable, portable, and durable that will help you get the job done with a small a footprint as possible. So to start with, let's talk about the bag I take my gear in. This is the Think Tank Production Manager 40. It is, as you might imagine, 40 inches long, and everything I have has to fit inside that 40 inches because this is the perfect size bag for me. It's durable, it works great, it gets beat up by the airport all the time, and it just keeps on kicking. So I found the perfect bag, and all the gear I'm going to use, they need to fit inside it. Before we talk about grip equipment, let's talk about the camera that I'm shooting these with. For headshots on location, I'm using the Fujifilm XH2 and the 50 to 140 2.8 lens, also from Fuji. This is my preferred camera. Obviously, it's got great image quality and all those other things, but really the main reason I use it is because of how beautifully it tethers. I shoot tethered into Capture One for almost every headshot session I do, and Fujifilm and Capture One they just work well, and this camera tethers flawlessly, which makes my life so much easier. And speaking of tethering, for my tether cables, I use the TetherTools Optima 10G. This is the Michael Jordan of tethering cables. It has a great one-way data-only connection, which keeps it stable, and it has a 10G bandwidth, which flies those huge files from your modern mirrorless camera right over to the computer with no slowdown. Love this cable. I have like 3 of them. So now let's dig into the strobes. The lights that I use when I go on location are these Flashpoint Evolve 200 Pro 2s. Now, I've owned these types of pocket strobes for a lot of years. I have about 8 or 9 of them, and I recently started upgrading my whole kit to the 200 Pro 2 for all of the great reasons: bicolor modeling lamps and full color menus, and there's all kinds of neat little things, but honestly, my favorite thing is the channel indicator light. So I can see what channel my light is on from across the room just based on the color light that it's displaying on the outside. So I never have to go over and take my light down just to double check that it's on channel B or C, and gosh, that saves me a ton of time. So still a great light, but with some really cool new features, totally worth the upgrade. So what about modifiers? Well, for my lights, when I'm shooting headshots in a 3-light setup, I'm typically using these Glow Parasnap boxes. And what I really like about the Glow Parasnap is the build quality is really good, but the best thing for me is how it folds flat pretty much. And that flat fold saves a lot of space in my bag. I'm using a 44-inch Octa for my main and 2 12x36 strips for my edge lights, hair lights, however I set up that configuration. It's just a great space saver, and I beat the tar out of these things, and they just keep on coming out of the box in one piece. I can't believe it. So since you never know what's going to happen on a job, I always have another modifier. This is the Glow Easy Lock 65-inch white umbrella. Now, the reason that I bring this along is because sometimes, something might go wrong with your main light, and you've got an inexpensive backup that doesn't take up a lot of space in your bag. But also sometimes they might come along and say, by the way, besides all these headshots, we want a group picture of 20 people, in which case you might need another modifier for a big group. And so this thing sits in the bag most of the time, but when you need it, man, you're really glad it's there. So other modifiers we got to talk about are reflectors, right? Well, I bring 2 of these. These doesn't look like much right now, but this is the Glow panel reflector that you can get from Adorama. They are inexpensive, they are incredibly versatile, and man, they just take up like no space. It's just a few fiberglass rods that hook into a center device and then stretch the material out. And it's white on one side, black on the other. You get other color materials for it. But not only are they good for, I like to use that underneath reflection to bounce light up like a lot of people do, but they're also great at setting it up so it works on the side because they articulate beautifully. But also, if you have some light coming in that you don't like, an overhead sconce light or a beam of sunlight because you're set up in a lobby or somewhere, this can be used as a flag also to block that light. And at a price of about 59-ish bucks or so at the recording of this video, you just absolutely can't beat it. You might as well buy like 4 of them. Now let's dig into some light stands. For my main light, I use the Cheetah C10. This obviously goes to 10 feet, why it's called the C10, but it also collapses to 36 inches, which fits beautifully in my grip bag. On top of that, the main light is the one that I'm likely to be moving around the most, and the Cheetah has those famous instantly collapsing legs when you put it down and pick it up, and it makes life a little bit easier when you're moving light stands around. So that's the Cheetah C10 for my main light. For my other lights, I use these guys. This is the Kupo 8-foot Midi Click, and there are 3 of them here. And you can see that they stack together, which is really cool, either side by side or on top of each other. I really like these for maybe one main reason. I mean, the stacking is nice. Flat packing them into my case does save me a ton of space. But for an 8-foot light, they have a really wide leg base, which makes them really, really stable. And that's the main reason I picked these over other brands, is I'm more comfortable putting a light on top of these and not feeling like I have to babysit it so much. It's a lot more stable. So Kupo 8-foot Midi Click. Love these guys. So you're gonna need something to tie the strobes, the modifiers, and the light stand all together. And so that's where this comes in, the Glow S2 Bowens mount. I really like these because this particular one has a nice bit of metal hardware at the bottom instead of plastic where most of the tension is. I feel really good about that. And whether you're using rectangular strobes or round ones, this will do a really good job fitting both of those. And so I have 4 of these in my kit, 3 for my 3-light setup, which is what I typically use, and a 4th one for a backup. So this little guy has slid into my kit recently, and this is the Matthews MERF, the mini extendable retractable folding stand. I think that's what it means. And it's so small, and it gets really a lot taller than it has any right to. But the way that I use it is to hold the reflector that's underneath my subject's face and bounces it up. And it gives you a lot of latitude in the height, and it gets really, really small. And this is perfect for that while taking up almost no space in your kit. So for my background, I use the Westcott X-Drop Pro. It holds an 8x8 or a 5x7 foot background and has a much smaller footprint front to back because they added some new adjustments in there, which is great. The thing I really like is that since it's been out for a while now, third-party companies are coming up with a lot of backgrounds that fit the X-Drop. So not only can you get Westcott's included white, gray, black, and various other ones, but there are hundreds of options now for backgrounds for the Westcott. Everything from different colors that you want to use, canvas-looking images, or even images that look like offices or other location backgrounds. It really comes in handy. It's a super versatile background. So that's it for the gear in the grip bag. What I want to do is share with you a few small non-photography things that I take with me on every job. First is gaffer's tape. And not just any gaffer's tape, but brightly colored gaffer's tape. You know what we can use these for? Ties down cables, it keeps everybody safe. But the thing I like to use it for is in a pinch, when you have brightly colored gaffer's tape, you can mark on the ground where you want people to stand, and it's really, really easy to see. Super useful. I keep plenty of rolls of this around all the time. Next is a lint roller. You have no idea how useful this thing can be if you've never had one before. Not only can it save you a ton of time retouching, but it also elevates the client experience and really makes people feel taken care of. It's the little things, right? And so I always have a couple of these stashed in my bag when I'm on the road. And finally, most of my jobs are kind of run and gun out at offices or convention centers, and I don't always have a professional hair and makeup artist there to touch everybody up and make them look great. So I always keep a few boxes of these around. These are just oil absorbing sheets. You can get these from any pharmacy or any drugstore. And what they basically do is allow you to kind of reduce the shine on people without getting involved in messy makeup or touching people's faces. And it can make your post-production quite a lot easier because it's less shiny. They get a little gross, but they are dead useful. They really come in handy, and people really do appreciate the extra attention to detail. So that's it for now, you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Adorama so they can keep making these videos. I've got plenty more coming to this channel over the next few months. And don't forget to check the description for links to all the gear we just talked about. This is all battle tested, used by me in the real world. And I think that if you give it a shot, you might just love it. So like, subscribe, check the description for those links, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.